Don't piss me off so I don't make faces on the. Okay, and then we're going to share it. Oh, I got rid of it quick tonight.
And we're on.
We are. We're going to stall for a couple of minutes. You do. Well, I'm going to stall, but I wasn't going to stall till 7 o'clock. So you have to stall until it gets to 7, and then I'll stall for a minute.
Yeah, you want me to do
Yes, I do.
a song and dance?
If you don't do something, I'm going to tell them that story that you just told me. Okay. All right. So it's 7 o'clock. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
And it's Father's Day. So I can't not say something about my husband on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Yeah.
And he is real special to me in that way, because that was one of the first things that made me fall in love with him, was his relationship with his daughters. I've always admired how he talked of them, and how he knew them and honored them and respected them for who they were. Just incredible. And then he became a father figure to my daughter and my son, and that's very special as well. And then he has even stepped in as a father figure with our grandson, one of our grandsons, Evan. And so today is a good day to honor him. He really deserves it. I think that he's a good role model for a lot of young people. They all love him. He's one of those guys that teases and plays with them. In fact, when he was, and the book will share some of this too, but when he was a counselor, one of the things, well, his specialty was play therapy. And just in playing with the kids, he would learn so much about them and make them feel so good about themselves. So it was a real awesome thing. Okay, so take it.
Okay, we're here to read 2 more chapters from our book, In Spite of Us, a love story about second chances. It's available on Amazon or on Kindle form or hard form, and Barnes and Noble.
And you don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
You can listen to us read it to you live if you want to go back here, or go to the library.
Yeah. And we're still trying to find with this virus thing going on. We've had a reading canceled at a local bookstore, but we're looking forward to some in the future. And tonight we're going to be reading chapters 19 and 20. We haven't had enough people do it correctly, but this book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, 101 Feel-Good Stories, Laughter is the Best Medicine, is we're going to give a book away when we have enough names to put in a hat. And in order to be eligible for that, you need to share on YouTube or Facebook. And we'll have a drawing for another. And we've given several of them away, and we've got several more that we will give away.
And you don't have to share it when it's live. If you watch it later when it's not live, you can go ahead and share it then on your Facebook page. So
Okay, so before we read tonight, I'm going to read one of our reviews from our book. And this was a review on Goodreads by a lady named Katie. Wow, what a beautiful story. This book was so good. Literally couldn't put it down. I spent multiple nights staying up late on my Kindle. I loved the storyline and how everything played out. I couldn't wait to see what would happen next. The characters fit perfectly, and I enjoyed the setting. I applaud the authors. They know how to write a beautiful story. I love the writing style. It worked perfectly with this book. I loved every page in this book, and I definitely recommend it. Thank you, Katie.
I'm so sorry that Katie lost sleep. Not. Actually, that kind of review makes us feel really good that that somebody considered it a page turner and stayed up and read it. Okay, are you ready for me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to be reading from chapter 19, and my chapter tonight is partly about my first meeting with Sandy's family. And I still find it fascinating that God put us together. You know, he knew that even though we were both bringing a ton of mismatched luggage to the relationship, that somehow it would work. And it's interesting because our families were both broken. Okay, we both came from broken families with deep roots in alcoholism. But the families were like different species, okay? The way that they dealt with life, how they dealt with problems. Well, to keep that part short, my family dealt with problems. His family swept them under the sofa, but my family's way of dealing with them was not handy. I mean, handy, healthy. Okay, so Sandy's family kept quiet and hid the most horrendous of realities. My family, go back to chapter 14. I don't have enough energy to explain them tonight. I will say they were opposites of Sandy's mom and dad. Because of that, I coveted what Sandy and his siblings had, not realizing until years later how deep their problems were as well. They were just manifested in a different way. Okay. So, the other thing that is in my chapter that I'm reading tonight is you're going to see me as a cliche alcoholic focusing on anyone else's drinking but my own. And in this case, in this chapter, it's my brother. And you'll also learn that my need to protect my baby brother from harm started when we were quite young. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. Chapter 19, Role Models. Sandy ignores my eyeball darts shooting across the dinner table. It's my first dinner with his family. Laurel, the mom, stands over the table, rebounding orders like a devoted bat boy, wanting nothing more than to serve and please her team. Flavius, the dad, Mark, the brother, Robin, the sister, and Sandy demand more gravy, rolls fresh from the oven, and another glass of milk. The words please and thank you are foreign to the masters of this slave, and no one but me seems to hear her pleas for approval. Who wants more of this crap, she asks. Taking the bait, I ooh and ah like a fool, hoping someone, maybe Sandy, will join my chorus. Oh my, these are the best rolls ever. And this gravy. Sandy. Don't you think the roles are amazing? Talking over my solo of compliments, they joke, asking who posed as the role model, each insisting the other's buns match the roles. I feel like I'm held hostage by the Three Stooges, plus one. Laurel ignores my orgasmic sounds of pleasure for potatoes and gravy, playing along with the role model gag. Later, she tolerates my help with the dinner dishes, frequently suggesting I join the others lounging in the living room. She pours the last of the bottle of Thunderbird wine into her glass. When the twist cap hissed earlier, all eyes turned her way, then diverted, as if long ago the family agreed to look away. I wanted to say yes when she offered me a glass, but I've realized I'd rather have none than a little. This is not the time nor the place to let loose. Besides, getting sloshed with boyfriend's mom is a dangerous game. I've walked that tightrope a time or two in the past. Robin goes home, leaving the original Three Stooges in the living room, talking over a rerun of Bonanza on the television. I'm sitting at the kitchen table with Laurel. Her lovely, tall, and elegant frame is mismatched with an I'm less than demeanor. Waving away my rerun of oohs and ahs of the feast, she spills a story with the opening line, I'm a bad person. You don't know the things I've done. I counter with, no, you're not a bad person. Appointing me as judge and jury, she shares the details of her past like a vehement lawyer's burden to prove her lack of worth to me. The story rivals Gone with the Wind. It's a real page turner, but I'd prefer to view it on the big screen, or better yet, read the book in private. Face to face with Scarlett in catharsis mode is beyond my comfort zone. In less than an hour, I learned that Sandy's oldest brother, Jim, who was killed in a car accident, was not the son of Flavius. He was the product of a one-night stand occurring while Flavius was away at sea in the Navy. All through the story, she emphasizes what a good man Flavius is to have married her anyway. I perform acrobatic feats in body language and facial expressions, hoping Sandy will come save me. Alas, the men are busy poking fun at each other, comparing stomach bloats, oblivious to the melodrama unraveling in the kitchen. I told you, I've done terrible things. No, it's okay. Don't say that, Laurel. My impersonation of Charles Manson in the morning before coffee finally grabs Sandy's attention. He gathers our coats as I sing a solo chorus of thank you, dinner was amazing, truly wonderful, thanks again. If you have any notion that I might be willing to live a life of hell like your mother, get over it, I say before the car door shuts.
What's wrong with you?
You treat your mother like dirt. He shakes his head like I'm out of my mind. I make a mental note. Do not marry this jerk. The answering machine beeps as we walk through the door. It's Danny, saying he'll be swinging by tomorrow morning. I'm disappointed Haley and Jay are at their dad's. They adore Uncle Danny. His teasing leaves them begging him to stop while asking for more. I suspect he wants to talk alone. Last week he was in jail again. He needs help. I have to do something. I don't know the how-tos of brothers and sisters. I just know our rule book. There have been times when I wanted the little sucker gone for good, like when he hid under my bed with a stuffed glove attached to a broom handle, or when he'd pop out from behind the shower curtain just when I turned on the light, Or the time he knocked on my bedroom window at 6 in the morning with his pimply yellow-toothed friends, pointing and giggling at my pink foam rollers. Still, he was, is, and will always be my pain in the butt. And when I'm not planning his demise, I love the idiot. When I was 13 and Danny 9, a silent bond took place. Mom and Dad wanted to go to Esmeralda's, a bar in the Skid Row section of Tacoma. They'd spent the day doing what they called things for us and wanted some adult time. In the spirit of parental multitasking, they handed us a handful of change along with a couple of Archie and Casper comic books. Upon cautioning we should not talk to strangers, they left us in the pool hall next door. Mom checked in every 30 minutes. It was fun. That is, until around 1 a.m., when the semi-normal looking people left us alone with the remaining sour-smelling men whose chins dripped of snuff after swigs from paper bags. Tired, we huddled on the floor, reading our comics. We kept our backs to the wall so no one could sneak up from behind we kept our backs to the wall so no one could sneak up from behind and our eyes downward. I felt a creepy stare coming from a guy with a spider tattoo on his hand. Danny felt it too, wiggling and pressing close to me. As the guy's pointed-toe boots shuffled toward us, my goofy little brother puffs up, placing an arm around my shoulder. "She's with me," he said in a squeaky voice. I looked up, expecting the guy to laugh. Surely even a dedicated axe murderer would think he's too cute for slaughter. When my eyes met the man's, it felt like when you have one of those naked in public nightmares. What did he see in place of the pair of red-headed, freckle-faced, scared, dopey, ivory-skinned kids? Danny's skinny arm quivered atop my shoulder, his legs bent, preparing to stand. And what? Fight? That's when I swore a silent oath to protect him all my days and to quit calling him names. As we stood up together, a voice boomed from the adjoining door to Esmeralda's. It was Dad. "Let's go." With that, the pervert scattered like a cockroach in the light. My folks apologized for being late, explaining their helpless situation. Everyone kept buying us drinks. They wouldn't let us leave. I've kept the vow best I can, except for the name calling. When he was 16, smoking weed and failing school, he moved from Auburn to live with my husband, Jerry, and me in Yakima. Together, we shopped for the best high school, with me barely 21, asking the school authorities questions like a mother of 6. It's always been Danny and me. Right now, he needs some help. He was willing to stand up and fight for me, and I'm willing to do the same for him. When he shows in the morning, he's noticeably hungover. He refuses a bear claw, grabbing for a coffee cup like an old man reaching for his cane. I listen to the ongoing saga of court dates, car accidents, stalking collection agencies, and girlfriends who exaggerate about his temper. I want to mention AA, but he might as well be wearing a sign reading, "I will bite the head off anyone who mentions my drinking." "I need to ask you something. You can't tell anyone," he says. He tears up. We light smokes. Sobs take over as he chokes, swallowing words. "I'm having problems. Sex problems. You know." "Like what?" I ask, buying time. I don't, you know. Come on, you know. He's crying. I'd do anything to help. Desperate, I resort to my one true talent, telling lies. Say what you want. Lying is a skill when used responsibly. It's saved me many times from a variety of threats, like jail, rape, and getting fired. Sandy had the same problems. That is before he quit drinking. He told me all about it. He couldn't function. Now he has no problem at all. Really? Danny asked, swiping the back of his hand on his cheek. Yes, really, I lied. You know he goes to AA meetings every day. You should talk with him. AA is bunk. I'm doing this other deal. It's not just the alcohol. The guy I'm seeing takes a holistic approach. No carcinogens, sugar, or white flour. I've already paid $1,200.
Wow. Okay, and I'm going to read chapter 20 and a little bit about the chapter. We do address, Deb tells me about her using me as I don't know what you call it, but I was not happy with it. And even though I had this amazing 3+ years of sobriety, I know I can't fix anybody. And Danny has to do what he has to do before he can. You got to reach the bottom, and no one knows where, But most of this chapter is about relationships, and it being this Father's Day weekend, it's brought up a bunch of stuff, the stuff inside that about family and about fathers and mothers and brothers and relationships. And I was born. When I was born, 3 of my natural grandparents had already passed. I had one grandparent and a step grandparent that were full-blown alcoholics and not pleasant people to be around. So that was what I knew about grandparents, and it wasn't nice, and it wasn't fun, and I learned about what a true grandma is and can be. And
From my Nana.
Huh?
From my Nana.
Yes, from Deb's Nana. Yeah. So I'm going to read chapter 20. Why do I have to be the guy with the limp? My dad plays safe, keeping opinions to himself, even complimentary ones. I've never heard him tell Mom, "You look nice," or even notice a new hairdo or perfume. Once our neighbor, Dottie, painted her big toenail black, hoping to disguise the hole in her patent leather shoes. Later, when she had gone, Dad said it looked silly. Other than that, he kept editorial comments quiet. Saturday, when I walked to the door with Deb, I was shaken aback by his reaction. Waiting until she walks into the kitchen with Mom, he leans close to me, whispering, "Those legs go on forever." What? My dad did not just say that. I've no reaction filed away. He would never say that. Yet he just did. I've learned hanging with Deb means anything can happen. People approach, seek her out like a moth to a light bulb. I tease her saying she's a magnet for crazies. Right now, She's wearing a World War II era mink coat, a mini skirt, a pair of red high-top Converse, and her favorite plaid Elmer Fudd style hat. The trick is, she rocks it. And it's not just me that thinks so. I've played witness to others clearly admiring her style. Whether it's a hat some chicken gave its life for, or this look, a schizophrenic bag lady aristocrat, I'm not that surprised he's charmed by her style. It's the leg comment that threw me. I'm aware of his man thoughts by things never said but known. He's a leg man. The poster in the garage of Sophia Loren in a wet t-shirt is never coming down. Mom is hot stuff. Daughter Robin is pure princess stock. I've never been told these things, but they're facts just the same. Jeopardy's theme song returns. The dad I know who sits in his recliner, never shouting out the answers before the contestant, but letting us know afterward that he knew it all along. I'm enjoying watching Deb with Mom in the kitchen until I remember the conversation we had in the car on our way here.
Sandy, I told a little fib about you to my brother. Don't get upset. It's for a good cause.
Okay, what?
Please understand, it was one of those moments when, well, you just know it's okay to lie. It's natural. It just slides off your tongue like it's meant to be, true or not. You know, it's like that moment when you toss the ball. With no doubt, it will make the basket. Or like,
What was the lie? Just tell me.
well, Danny was so upset, crying, because he's having sex problems.
Okay, what kind of sex problems?
I don't know. I'm not a guy. You know, a performance deal. I didn't know what to say, but then a solution popped into my head, a way to bring him on board with sobriety. So I told him you had sex problems too.
But I don't.
I know. I said it was at the end of your drinking days. Can't you see how this could help him?
I've never had any problems with sex. Not ever.
So what? If it helps Danny get sober, boo-hoo to your manhood threat. It's an innocent white lie, and I'm going for it.
What if he asked me about it?
Just tell him everything works great now that you've quit drinking.
This is not okay. I get what she means by a moment when a lie lands on your tongue like a gift. The difference is my lies were given to judges, cops, and girlfriends. She did this to get back at me because I wouldn't fix her brother. I dared to say no, so she jumps in with a whopper of a lie about my sex life. Good intentions or not, why do I have to be the guy with the limp in the story? I'm still pissed, but find it hard to stay that way. She has a big heart. Even my mom is opening up to her. I don't remember telling my other girlfriends her life story. I've shared some family secrets with Deb, but not all. I don't mind leaving a few dust bunnies under the bed. Unlike Deb, who shoos them all out into the open. We're different in many ways, sharing family dysfunction in practice, not style. Last month, I met Deb's grandma. Like the other family members, she comes with warning labels. I must call her Nana, never Grandma, and never ask her or mention her age. Born in the year 1900, it will be hard to forget how old she is, but I'm keeping my mouth shut. My granny, a wicked woman who destroyed the souls of her children, had rules too. Rules who went out of my way to break, like calling her granny. She hated that. Nana and Granny are nothing alike. Walking up the painted stepping stones past the smiley-faced pansies to her white clapboard cottage was like entering a fairy tale. Then she opened the door, smiling. "Sandy, bless your heart. It's good to meet you." Spellbound, instantly in love, I entered the land of all things fuzzy and warm. Maybe too warm, like an incubator wrapped in knotty pine walls with a coal furnace blasting in the corner, owning half of the 8 by 10-foot living room. "Have a molasses cookie," she says, offering a plate with carefully stacked tiers of perfectly round cookies. "Thanks. I hope they're okay. They might be stale," she says in time with my first bite. "I stored them with some apples and soda crackers. That should have kept them fresh." I loosen a few buttons on my shirt and roll up my sleeves, looking around the 600 square foot haven. On the 19-inch television is a picture of Deb with dark brown hair in a white wedding dress. I laugh aloud, seeing that the groom, Jerry, is covered up with a sheet of paper. I remember Deb saying she had dyed her hair the night before the wedding, something about thinking she'd be a better wife as a brunette than a redhead. I'm learning not to bother understanding all of her logic. "Don't you think she looks good with dark hair?" asked Nana, while holding her hand over the already hidden groom. We spent the afternoon with Nana, like children in a safe cocoon of love, talking about poker, gin rummy, train rides, and black licorice. The grand tour of the cottage was like flipping through a photo album. Pictures matching Deb's childhood stories, the clawfoot cast iron tub, the chenille bedspread, the 1930s black rotary phone, the rickety slat-style cupboard, props I've come to know from her tales of Nana. I couldn't help but compare her to my drunken, foul-mouthed granny who grabbed any chance to say mean things. When it was time to leave, Nana starts to walk us to the car.
"Nana, I promised Mom I'd make you use your walker.
Deb says.
You know you're still wobbly since you broke your hip."
Obeying, she gets it out of the closet, stored in the back along with other useless items. I'm already smitten, but what happens next secures this woman in my heart forever. Leading us along the stepping stones with her begrudged walker, she suddenly stops, lifts the walker over her head, slams it down, then again and again, yelling, "I hate those rotten slugs." Once again, demure and sweet, she uses the multi-purpose walker to scrape the slug from the walk. As we pull away, she stands waving, walker at her side. I'm thoroughly charmed, madly in love with Elsa, the Nana of every kid's dreams. There's chapter 19 and 20. And again, if you'd like to buy our book, it's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, your local bookstore, including Inklings, and the library if you want to just check it out and read it and let your neighbor read it. And
Or go back and listen to the chapters. You can go on YouTube and type in Spite of Us, a love story about second chances, live reading, and you should be able to find all of our chapters.
Yeah. So remember, be eligible for a drawing. Put like on YouTube or Facebook and
Share.
Share, not just like, share. Okay.
Okay. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, it's been fun, and we'll see you next week.
And happy Father's Day.